Hey everybody, Edo here, and I am excited because I have Raina from 1 Minute Board Games. Say hello.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Thanks so much for being on, and your channel is actually a TikTok channel, which is pretty awesome.
hmm
And I want to learn all about that because I'm still learning and getting used to everything in the short form content. But at the same time, as part of these Q&As, I'm super interested in just how you got into board games and how like the moment you sort of pivoted the interest in the hobby into content creation and what you've been doing. So, how'd you dive into all of it?
Sure. So I started getting into modern board gaming when I started dating my current partner. His name is Phil, and he has been into the hobby for about over 10 years now. So he's been playing board games as a hobby for a while. And then we got together a couple years ago. Of course, you kind of want to see if your partner would be into board games with you. And thankfully for both of us, I was. And
It's good.
so,
It certainly helps. It's not a
yeah,
requirement, but it
definitely.
helps.
Uh-huh. And then yeah, so he got me into the hobby, and I started creating content in the summer of last year. So I want to say the end of July, and I started on TikTok as you did mention, and it happened a bit organically. I use TikTok very often, just like in my day to day life, just for pleasure. It's kind of like my go to social media platform. And I kind of just realized I don't really see any board game content on TikTok. What if this is something that I could try doing? And I did try, and it's been great ever since.
Yeah, and so in terms of that, so you're an active user on the platform, and TikTok has a variety of tools within it for content creation, but also allows you to sort of upload your apps. Did you know, like, did it start with the 1 minute board games thing, or did it you start somewhere else? Like, how did you find your content? How did you find your sort of nugget of what you
Mhm.
wanted to share?
Yeah, from the get go, we were 1 minute board games, and it came to us a bit easy because the limit for videos on platform or on TikTok is 1 minute. So we know we wanted to mess around with short form board game content. So we did entertain like bite sized board games for a while, but decided with the 1 minute thing, it was a bit more, it just made more sense. And also wanted to mess around with short form content because I have a really short attention span, and I can't even watch like 3 to 5 minute videos sometimes if I want to learn more about a game. So I guess it kind of stemmed from me creating content that I wanted to see for me.
Yeah, for sure. I know when I started doing my board game videos, which aren't not on TikTok, they're on YouTube. But even then, for me, I found the 20 minute or 25 minute, 40 minute how to play videos to be, I just wanted to get somebody's opinion on, excuse me, on the game, right? And sort of like
Mhm.
the kind of conversation you'd have with somebody if it was they were over to your house to play and you just were telling them about a game. You wouldn't go on for 20 minutes or they'd leave, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, but and so, you know, one of the things that I know folks are curious, and we're going to talk about the platform a bunch, but in terms of the content you create, you know, TikTok obviously has a number of tools and sort of effects to be part of the sort of entertaining and performance art of the platform. Um, but you can also upload, your own video. How did you approach that? Did you try both? What are you doing now?
So initially, I recorded directly into TikTok and edited on there. And they do have, an amazing sort of editing system in the app itself. You can record, you can cut, you can trim sounds that they have. They have a large sound library. They also have a large library of special effects and stuff that I don't really use because it doesn't really make sense within my niche.
Sure, sure.
There's really great ways to use text and stuff like that. So you can do it all on TikTok. It's definitely possible. I did it for the first few months that I was creating content on there, but I started to pump out more content, and so I needed to find a way that was more efficient for me. And right now, I do edit content outside of TikTok and then upload it directly to the platform.
Got it. So you're building it on, Premiere or iMovie or whatever format,
hmm
and then you're just uploading it and then using the platform as a platform to share
hmm
your content. I guess one of the things that's probably worth talking about for those who aren't as familiar with TikTok, is perhaps some of the ways it's different. When you think of TikTok as a platform in contrast to something more like Facebook or YouTube, and more like YouTube or other major channels where people are making, or Twitch, or are making board game content, media, creator content. Um, how would you describe TikTok? Like, what are the pros of that as a platform for sharing um, board game video content?
Sure. So TikTok is a very unique platform in that you're mainly seeing content of people that you don't follow. So, on YouTube, you have like your subscription playlist. On Instagram, you have your page where you're following everyone, you're seeing all the posts. On TikTok, there's two different pages. There's a following page, which is all the content from the people that you follow, and also the For You page. And the For You page is basically TikTok pushing videos to you saying, hey, based on stuff that you might have liked before, this is stuff that you may like now.
And this
So
is the format that is just a swipe up new video, swipe up new video, swipe up new
mhm,
video, and you're just totally, I mean, relatable content, but it's anything that the algorithm thinks you'd be interested in.
exactly. Like I obviously my TikTok is a board game account, but I get a bunch of different stuff on my For You page. It's not just board game stuff, and I think it's pretty close to impossible to just get board game stuff on your For You page.
And partly though, I imagine that's, I mean, aside from the range that they want to show you new things, at this point, there's still, I mean, I would still imagine there aren't that many creators, certainly compared to the other channels on TikTok,
hmm
right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely starting to be a lot more creators who are starting to use TikTok, board game creators, but definitely not as much as say YouTube or even Facebook or Twitter, Instagram.
Right. And has there been any, there's obviously the sort of, you know, review, unboxing, opinion type of content. Have you seen any board game sort of having more fun, wild, not wild, but like more of the performance content, or is the board game stuff mostly, bringing what might be considered traditional media to TikTok?
So the board game content that I have seen from others on TikTok is half kind of like taking fun little TikTok trends and putting a board game twist on it, which is always
Okay,
fun to
sure.
watch. And the other half is a little bit more instructional, educational, kind of just like an overview of like this is how this game works.
Right. And I think it's probably beneficial for folks who aren't as familiar with TikTok and what's happening in that scene, is that um a lot of that video content creation it has that sort of um, meme or viral, or not copying, but like somebody does one sort of vibe of a content piece, and then a lot of people try to do their spin on that set of stuff. So it's a lot of being influenced by the content on the platform and creating new content on the platform, as opposed to maybe really trying to strike a difference, differentiating yourself with like not trying to do as much riffing off of. It's got a lot of riffing, for lack of. Is there a better term than riffing that you would use?
No, I think riffing is a really good term. I think a term for like the whole thing in general is just trends. Mhm.
Right. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
My cough.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a thing with TikTok in general. Like if there's this specific sound that is, picking up a lot of traction, then TikTok's algorithm kind of pushes videos with that sound out more.
And you're able to. So if you want to leverage some of that stuff, do you have to, that you basically in that case would import your video in and then try to leverage the music or the effect or that on top of it? Are you able to use that on existing stuff, or do you have to do it from newly created stuff within the platform?
No, you're correct. You can upload a video directly onto TikTok, and then I can pick a sound that the database has, and then just put it like in the background of my video that I upload.
Oh, cool, cool. I mean, so it sounds like it's pretty flexible on how you want to create the content. Is there, you know, there's a lot of people, I think in on YouTube and streaming, there's a lot of information out there on how frequent you should do it, and sort of, what the cadence is. When it comes to TikTok, as a creator, from your perspective, what is it? Is it lots of posts a day? Is it once a day? How do you think about how much content you should be bringing to TikTok?
So I just want to, just start off by saying that things that I've heard about how the algorithm works are all to be like rumored. No
Sure,
one really
sure.
knows for sure how the TikTok algorithm works, but people tend to say, and I think that this works for me as well, to post at least every day, and you can post multiple times a day without the platform like penalizing you for it, which I feel like other platforms like Instagram have been rumored to do. Like, just post once a day on Instagram or else you're going to overwhelm your followers and this and that.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Well, and there's certainly a large I mean, it is short form content, so there's a large churn of it.
Hmm.
Um, well, what when so I guess from your perspective, you enter the platform, you saw a need and a hole, and you've been starting to fill it, and through the spread of your channel, and then just the overall platform as a whole over the last year or two. Um, have do you feel like are you welcoming of all the new voices and folks trying to try it out and get on the platform? Is it feel like it's changing the dynamic somewhat? I mean, what's your sort of how would you describe the trends and transitioning into this space from the board game space right now?
I love it when people are coming onto TikTok and putting out board game content. I think because TikTok itself um, targets younger audiences and more casual gamers, and so if get, let's say, like I have this video that hits like 1 million views, and I introduced 1 million people to this game, and they just never knew that board games existed. That's just so many other people that were getting into the hobby, and like you might start someone off with like Catan, but Catan 5 years from now, 10 years from now, could be like a Batal Lacerda game. And it's just introducing a lot more people into the hobby, I think, is super important.
Cool. And actually, as you were saying that, I was wondering, are you able to curate or organize your content at all once it's been produced, or is it a little bit more like Twitter in that you're just pushing it up and then it's getting retweeted and shared, or Instagram, but it's not so much, like in a YouTube model where you can put it into a playlist and sort of organize it? And is it more just you're just putting content after content into the flywheel?
More so the latter. It definitely, I wish that it was more organized, but I do understand that the platform was meant to be a bit more casual. But I've heard that they're actually rolling out the ability to put videos into playlists on your channel.
Oh, cool. So you could sort of say, hey, you're a new player, you're into games, start
Hmm.
with these 10, that kind of thing, or whatever.
Hmm. Because that's been
And
super hard. I make so many different videos, but you can't, there's no search bar in my profile. So you have no idea if I covered this one game, and no one wants to scroll endless through a page to
oh, I
see if
guess
you did.
can you even? I mean, can you even find if I wanted to see a scythe? I don't know, but if that's some perhaps you have or haven't done a scythe one. I'm not sure, but it just the first name that came to mind. But like, could I search that at all, or is it really like no? You're just gonna watch and see what you get.
I haven't tried it, but there is a search bar option just in the TikTok app. So I think theoretically you could search like Scythe 1 minute board games and maybe
Oh,
something will pop up, maybe something won't. But you can't go to someone's specific profile and search their profile.
right. And so it's really, I mean, I think for folks who are less familiar with it, and I'm not even again, I'm a noob in and of myself in terms of the platform, but it's a lot of it's about just discovery and seeing new things and having the content sort of pushed out to you in that feed, as opposed to um, going there and searching for like, hey, I'd really like to learn somebody to teach me this, or I want to see that. It's more about I like short form content. I'm into board games. What things are going to pop up, and what am I going to learn about today? It's much more. It's more serendipitous, perhaps, in terms
Absolutely.
of how you consume. Um, do you find, you were talking about you enjoying short form content, and like TikTok was your social platform, and then you started creating on it. But do you are there certain types of content, longer form content, that you do find yourself looking and watching on other platforms? Do you are you do you feel inspired to try longer form content? I mean, how do you see that other type of content?
Yeah, so it's crazy because through creating board game content, I have become a lot more involved and knowledgeable in the community. Before, I kind of just used to watch like the usual, videos on YouTube, the usual guys teaching the games and stuff. I didn't really venture outside of that because I didn't really know how to find other content. So through getting more involved, I found, channels like Before You Play, who's really blowing up right now. And I love Monique and Naveen. And I think through watching their content, I really enjoy it. And I've thought about the idea of, perhaps doing playthroughs with Phil and seeing how we could mess around with long form content. And yeah, I think absolutely I've thought about doing more long form content.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I think actually they just did the How to Play for Proliferous. I thought they did a great job.
Oh yeah.
Um, but in terms of I guess just switching gears. So I mean, I'm curious. I'm very interested to see what that content is when you figure it out. But in terms of we talked a little bit about how you are doing your editing from a camera perspective, just because there's just a variety of people who watch this channel. Um, are you using a phone or are you using a camera? What? How are you? How do you film?
Yeah, I do use my iPhone. It's like an iPhone 10 or something like that, one of the bigger ones. That's all I use. I do have like a little lapel mic that I use. I kind of attach it to myself when I'm talking or when I'm doing voiceovers, just so everything's more crisp and clear.
For
And
sure.
then I have like a little cheap tripod that I got online. So that's kind of like my filming gear right there. Very minimal, but it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's amazing how especially since you probably already has the phone, right? If you're
Mhm.
going to use your phone, you can just dive in and get so much done. I was filming off of a phone for a really long time. Um, and is there? I'm curious. I guess what resolution do you typically, if you know, export out at? I mean, what is does TikTok have a format that it picks up?
So
Because
when
they're portrait, right?
they are portrait, yes. I don't know about saving directly from TikTok. It doesn't really give you like a definition option, but I use a closed captioning app and I also use an editing app on my phone. And whenever I export from there, I always do 4K.
Got it. So, but it's at portrait, right? So it's
It
whatever
is
aspect
portraits. Yeah, so I think it,
ratio.
yeah. Mhm.
Interesting. Interesting. I mean, it's so cool to have new and dynamic content. And so I think what you're doing is fantastic. But it's also interesting to see how I like how you're describing the sort of consumption model of TikTok as just a different way to appreciate and enjoy this video content, which isn't sort of the same use and engagement model as what you might think of somebody on YouTube or on a live stream. Um, when you think about TikTok, I mean, what what would be some if you were talking to the TikTok developers, like what would be some neat things you'd be interested in seeing on the platform?
Um, I think maybe a search option on someone's profile would be
Sure.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, they are rolling out playlists. I don't need to ask for that right now. So when you upload a video, you can add like a title card to the thumbnail of the video, but once you add that, you can't edit the thumbnail anymore.
Oh,
So I
geez.
would probably like to be able to edit that. That's kind of the things off the top of my head because I don't really want to change the platform itself too much. I
Right.
really like it for what it is right now.
And do you typically share off of? I mean, it sounds like for the most how much okay, so in the way the different model works, if you're doing a YouTube video or these other content channels, there's usually like all of this outreach and sharing that you then go through, right? You like, I film the video and then I'm going to post it in this group and post it here and post it there and sort of draw attention to the premiere or the release of the video. Do you find you have to do that at all? Or is it no, we just post the video and the TikTok stuff does its stuff, and the more fans we have, the more people it knows to share it with people, and it's sort of organic? Or do you find you need to generate sort of engagement and word of mouth on your own, or is that sort of all platform driven?
So I don't really think it's like that. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's not. It isn't not the way that TikTok works to try to generate, hype about a video that you're going to post on TikTok. Just because the air of it is so casual, and also it is very short form.
It is short. It is short.
And a lot of the videos that I film, unless they're contracted videos, are kind of just like filmed on a whim. Like I'll just be like, okay, I have like 10 minutes here. Let me film this video real quick and just post it, and then I'll go on with my day.
Cool. Well, I mean, that's also a certain freedom in being able to do the content so quickly, right? And I mean, not to
Hmm.
say that you're not spending time thinking about it and doing a good job, but by being limited to that time frame, it does um,
Hmm.
reduce. It certainly reduces the amount of editing you might have to do, right?
Yeah,
Um,
no. I do. I do acknowledge that I do a lot of work than most people might think for a 1 minute video, but it's definitely, I've tried YouTube. It's a lot less than doing
Yeah, yeah.
that.
I remember the first time I was trying to edit down like a 45-minute video, and I was like, "Oh, this is terrible." I watch like the on Netflix, like the history of curse words, which is like this sort of fun documentary thing with Nicolas Cage or whatever. But there's so much editing in it between all the
I
all the people
know.
that go. You're like, this is a lot of work. This is so much work.
Yeah.
Um, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sort of opening up some of the interesting aspects of TikTok because, again, it's it's that weird thing that happens when a new platform is emerging and getting attention within a space, and so now people are aware of it and they're engaging with it and they're starting to enjoy it. But it's sort of, you know, it has a different vibe and an approach and a feel, so it's not quite as it's not as easy, I think, for people to sort of dive in. Though I will say it is easy to dive in. Like if you just download the app and start, like it's amazingly easy, right? In the context of like, no, you're just going to keep scrolling up and just seeing
Hmm. Just wait
videos,
till
right?
you find something you like.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I do think hopefully talking about it gets people more excited and engaged to give it a shot and try to have some fun with it. I don't know. I feel like we covered like a lot, like all my questions. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I was curious about. Um, is there any off of TikTok for a second, just because we was also about board games. When you look at what's coming down the pipe from a board game perspective, not on TikTok, just board games. What are you excited about on the back half of the year?
Um, what am I excited about? I think I'm just excited for my own personal journey in the board game community because I'm becoming a lot more aware of certain things. Like I'm becoming like publisher aware or like designer aware, and I think it's really helped me enjoy board games a lot more. I am excited for a lot more people to start creating content, have a more diverse space. I'm really excited to see that. I'm sorry, I know you asked me a question about board games specifically, but I'm drawing like a blank right now.
No, no. I mean, well, but that's important, right? I mean, that's part of I mean, I remember when I started learning about that and realizing like, oh, this is the same artist that did these three things, or this is the designer that, and then maybe like, oh, and when I play this person's games, I sort of can see the same feel. I'm having a same aesthetic or feel, even though the games are so different. Sort
Mhm.
of like how an author might write. So no, I think that's a super exciting time, and for sure there's um, a lot of shifting and changing and going on in the board game space, which is super exciting right now, and tons of new voices entering the fray and getting involved. So it's been so cool to watch, and for me as a publisher, but just also content creator and a player, I think for me, a board game is an experience, right? And getting to have all these new experiences and sharing those moments with other people is fantastic. Um, well, but no problem with blanks. Blanks happen. But I do think I think this was a great little chat. And thanks so much for being on and sharing. And
Yeah.
I hope,
Thank you for having me.
yeah. And I guess is there like what would I guess you can go look up your channel on TikTok and then sort of favorite it, and then it'll be in your feed. Then you can go look at it that way. If
Yeah.
somebody is actually like I'm going to put a link
Uh-huh.
in the description, and
Hmm.
so if they go there, they can see the content, and then they can friend it on TikTok or not heart it,
Yeah,
and start
absolutely. And just scroll away.
scroll away. Awesome. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today, and thanks everybody for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks. Bye.